if you're looking to get a bigger fiberglass bass boat, or you want to upgrade to a more expensive fiberglass bass boat, watch this video before you do that, because I'm going to give you a few lakes that I've been to that I know you'll be at a disadvantage if you show up in a bigger, heavier boat. So the first lake that comes to my mind would be Santee Cooper. This is a lake that is full of trees for actually a kind of a interesting story. They were building the lake, building the dam, cutting down the trees, and the war happened and all the workers were drafted to the war. So when they filled in the second lake, they left all the timber in it. So it is loaded with standing timber. There are stumps everywhere, not to mention thousands and thousands of cypress trees. And anyone that's fished around cypress trees or the cypress tree knees knows how tough that can be, especially when you're in a big fiberglass boat. A lot of those fish live real tight to those trees and you try to navigate around them. A lot of the knees, not the stumps, the knees are underneath the water. It's just a really hard place to fish. It's a hard place to get around. Some of the areas of the lake are not marked at all because of how many trees are there. There was no way they could survey the bottom with all the stumps that are in the water. So that is just a lake where the fish love to live shallow. You've got to fish around all those trees and stumps, and navigating it can be the most difficult part. I showed up there with an aluminum boat the first time and it was great. I never hit anything. I fished the entire week, caught a bunch of fish, really got to see a lot of places that I know you wouldn't be able to go in a fiberglass boat, especially for the first time being on the lake. The next time I came back, I fished as a co-angler in a fiberglass boat and we were stuck on stumps. We were hitting things constantly. And anyone that knows fiberglass knows it does not mix well with stumps. So that was one of those situations where I just knew right away that this is the type of lake where you have to have an aluminum boat. Now, there are a lot of different scenarios where an aluminum boat can help you. You know, I think of like Lake Seminole. If you go there when the fishing's really tough, let's say the fall time of the year where the lake is fishing really tough, it's got big largemouth in it, but they just really shut down that time of year. A lot of guys like to go up the Flint River and fish for shoal bass. And you can take a bass boat up there, but it is very treacherous. A lot of shoals, a lot of shallow water. It's not marked. Really, really hard to navigate. In an aluminum boat, about 100 times easier. Still not safe by any means, but that's one of those things that if you wanted to go to Lake Seminole, you wanted to go catch a shoal bass, an aluminum boat is really about the only way to do that. The last area of the country, and I know this is on a lot of people's bucket list, going down to Florida, fishing a lot of those natural lakes that are in Florida. Now, this is no stumps. You don't have to worry about hitting something out in the open water. But I feel like a lot of those natural lakes, they're smaller. They're not Okeechobee. They're not the Kissimmee Chain. They're not these massive lakes. They're much smaller bodies of water. And you're really not at any advantage fishing out of a bigger boat in those lakes, especially where you have shallow water. You're going to be fishing in the shallow water. So having a smaller boat around those types of lakes where, again, they aren't marked, those lakes have not been surveyed. They're kind of those cereal bowl lakes where they get the deepest out in the middle and then they gradually come up. But you don't really know how shallow it is. And if you want to go down there and fish some of those lakes, you don't really know what to expect. And that aluminum boat is just a lot easier to get around, in my opinion, especially fishing down there. So those are a few places where no matter what the situation is, no matter what the time of year is, where the water level is, an aluminum boat is going to be key. Don't just buy the nicest, most expensive boat because you think it's going to help you catch more fish. That's not always the case. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the water.